Hi everyone, my name is Katie. I am a Time4Learning employee and I'm a homeschool mom. Chances are you've seen me on some of our Facebook Live videos. We have tons of new members, so we wanted to take a moment just to kind of welcome you to your parent account. This is going to be a really general, brief overview to help you get started right away. The first thing that we want to say is remember that Time4Learning is a curriculum. It's a tool. It's a way for homeschooling parents to, facilitate their students' education. We are not going to put restrictions on how you use Time4Learning. We're not going to, mandate a schedule or a way that you have to use this. You can really use Time4Learning any way that you'd like. You can use as much or as little of what's offered from Time4Learning, and there's no wrong or right way. So just get comfortable with your parent account. Recognize that we are a tool for you as a parent to help educate your kiddos. So I'm going to do some screen sharing. The first thing that I want to show you is this is the page that you're going to be on when you go to time4learning.com and you hit that login button right there. Students will have their own login, so you want to make sure that they have their login information after you get them set up. You're not going to try to access their account here. They're not going to try to access your account in the parent section. So this is the student login here. Parents have their own. And I'm going to go ahead and log in. So this is what you're going to see the first time that you log in. I'm going to go over each of these tabs, but I do want to briefly point out if there is any one piece of information that we can give you, one piece of direction, it's to visit this help and tips section first. You're going to see a bunch of information. It's going to really help you dig right in and get to know everything. So that's the best place to go. And we'll come back to that at the end in more detail, but I did want to mention that first, that you're going to go to the help and tips section for a lot of your questions. So the home tab, this is what you're going to see every time that you log in. You're going to have your student overview here, some shortcuts for reporting and planning, little information boxes. This time on task graph is super convenient. Please note that this does update when our system updates overnight. So any information that you see here is not going to be what was completed today. It's going to be the following morning after 6:30 a.m. Eastern Time. The next step is our manage students area. And this is kind of like this is your main hub. You're going to have all of your students that you can see here. Any of the courses that they're enrolled in, all of their information here. Print membership letter, you can update their status, tells you when they last logged in. This is where you'll go to change their password and to change any sort of minimum lesson time or minimum playground or time for fun time. And I'm actually going to try to find a good student to show you guys a lot of different information with. Okay. So I mentioned that Manage Students is your hub. This is where you're going to go to update courses. You'll go click on this orange button here. This is where you'll make any changes. You can assign them a different grade level. You can add language arts extensions for the grades that that's applicable for. You can add them in time for math facts, which is some game-based math fact mastery fun time. It's really good. You can change their course here. Middle schoolers often question which course they should do at which grade level. The science and social studies courses can be completed at any grade. And the order that you'll see, my screen won't go all the way down, but there are some more here that you'll be able to see. But the order that they're presented is the order that you can start with. So if you're assigning a 6th grade, for instance, you could do ancient or world history. But all of that's here. And then once you do complete everything, that you assign them the grades, you want to click change grade levels, and that will save. Manage Students is also where you're going to go for lesson plans, previewing lessons, and taking a peek at the course map. So for middle school language arts and math, scope and sequence will take you right to the lesson plans. You can preview any activity. You can find answer keys as well. If there are resources, you'll find those in that right sidebar. These are offline worksheets and answer key bundles. If you wanted to print them all at once, we recommend just printing them as you need them when they come in an activity like this. So that's the scope and sequence. You can also take a look at course maps for science and social studies at the middle school level or any of the high school courses. You'll see that the course map is a little different, but it's still easy enough to maneuver. You can click through here on that sidebar if you need to get to labs, get materials that way. The chapter bar here gives a lot of information. You can objectives of the course, transcripts that they may find. So that's a good way to get all of that information there. If you don't have a middle schooler or high schooler, you'll see the scope and sequence for each course. You won't have to worry about that course map. And then if you have a high schooler, you'll see the course map and the scope and sequence for every activity. Again, manage students. What you need to remember here is this is your hub. This is where you're going to go to update courses. This is where you're going to go to preview scope and sequence. This is where you're going to go to enter those course maps where you can preview activities and find answer keys. Don't worry, we'll have more videos later that go into more detail about each of these things, like the course map and how you can print an answer key. But we just want to show you this to get you started. So that's manage students. You'll go into lesson planning and reports. This is another great hub. This is where you can view lesson plans. This is where you can either create a student planner or view your saved plans, and this is where you can print reports. If you want to create a plan, so we do give parents a couple of options. You can use a curriculum calculator, which is a loose guide. This is going to break down basically how many activities you need to do a day, a week, and then a month to finish by your predetermined end date. The calculator doesn't save, so once you generate this, you'll want to print it and save it for your own reference. We also have a detailed plan. Again, another video will go more in depth in this, but a detailed plan is good for those parents who want a little more structure for a schedule. So you'll be able to select your student, give it a name, you'll do start and end date. You'll be able to go through and add your own material. You can do all of the material that we offer and just toss that in the plan. That's a quick and easy solution for parents who want to use a plan. So we'll go into that, but you'll find that under Select and Action. View your saved plans. This is where you're going to go to make edits. Quick glance here, just so you guys are familiar with it. So once you go into My Saved Plans, you can manage your planners. This is where you will delete any old ones or change your default plan. If you want to make edits, you want to maybe remove some material or add some that you didn't add before. If you want to schedule a break that you didn't include when you created the plan initially, this is where you'll go. We also give parents an option to save as a PDF file or even export to Excel. This is a good option for those parents who want to add outside material into a plan. So you guys could do that and add that there. Generate reports. This is where you're going to go for student progress. You'll pick a student. Generate report. When you come down here, you'll get an option. This student just has a custom report. This is where you will also find like Time for Math Facts and Time for Languages if your student is enrolled in either of those add-ons. So you'll go to Generate Report, Custom Report, and then the next screen is where you can set your parameters for what you want to see. Last week, that's the last full week. That is not to date. That is last week, last month, last year. If you want to do maybe the month of September, you could do select to today and choose September 1st. This is where you can include what you would like to see in this custom report. If you don't want to see all of the activities, you just want to see quizzes and tests, you can do that here. You can do all subjects, or you can choose your subject. We give parents options here as well. So if your student has to retake a quiz, as an example, you can use the average score of all of those quiz attempts. You can use the highest score, you can drop the lowest score, or you can use the most recent. And then you're going to generate the report, and it'll populate in another tab that will show you all of your student progress. So if you do want to view report as a student, so this would be for any subject K through 5, and it would also be for language arts and math at the middle school level. You can go to that student portfolio. If your student is enrolled in one of our elementary science courses, you'll see that here as well. You could pull up their science notebook. So that's the lesson plan and reporting. Account and billing. This is extremely important. So you'll see your bill date up here in the billing details box. You also will have an opportunity for cancel membership here, if that's something that you need to do. You'll find that in this box. If you would like to put your student on hold or in what we call a dormant state, this is good for parents who intend for longer breaks, maybe a month-long break during the winter holidays or for a summer break. If you put your account on hold, you can be charged a reduced rate, but you keep all of your progress and records and all of that information that you might need for when you're ready to get started again. This is where you can add premium electives like the Time for Languages, the foreign language learning that we offer. You can do that here. Parents can edit their information here. And then this account activity will show you any changes that you've made, course updates, information like that that you've made to your student account. The last tab, and I talked about this at the beginning, this is the key tab that we really want to show you guys. The help and tips section. This has so many questions and answers. This is a super resource for you. We have some information to help you get started, links out so you can find your state laws, a bunch of information. We're going to tell you how you can change your grade level. So anything that I've shown you in the Manage Students section or in the Lesson Plan section, you're going to find your steps here in that Help and Tips area. So how do you track progress? How can you preview? All of these different things that you'll find. This is great. Get to know your student dashboard. Some key components here. These are important icons that you'll want to get to know, especially if you create a planner for your student and yourself. We are going to walk you through creating an activity plan, using that calculator I mentioned, how to edit, delete, and manage any plans that you create. We also have some frequently asked questions, important information, devices and browsers, what's going to be compatible with Time4Learning, and what's going to make your life easier as far as device and technology. So all of this information is in the help and tip section. So there's just a lot of information here. It's a really good starting point. So even though you log in, you're going to come to that home page. We really want you to make sure that your first, second, third, and last stop in your parent dashboard is that help and tip section. So we hope that this was helpful for you. Please know that you can drop your next video suggestion into the comments below. So if there's something that you want to see, maybe a little more instruction that you didn't find in that help and tips, or something that you'd like to see addressed for clarity's sake, drop those suggestions in the comments so we can kind of really determine what our next step is going to be to help you guys out the most. So thank you for joining us, and we appreciate your time. Don't forget, help and tip section in the parent dashboard. Let us know your next suggestions. Thanks.